Now, when it comes to this channel, well, after a journey that has taken us so far and has featured multiple efforts and campaigns over the years to try and end my run, all due to fan bases that tend to all support one guy and label not liking what I have to say, well, after countless attempts to try and stop all of us and me from telling the truth about the state of hip-hop and where the genre was at in the Drake era, well, I got bad news for him, and him, because all of the attempts from the crash outs to take me over and stop me from talking about hip-hop history for better and for worse have failed, and what we can officially say now because of this is that this channel has made it to a milestone which, if you are on this platform, which you all are, know that it's an absolute dream for everybody who creates here, as we just reached 100,000 subscribers. And now with this, well, before we go any further, I just want to say to every single one of you who is watching and who has ever supported me, well, this milestone is for all of us, and we did this all together, and if it was not for every single one of you, yes, you listening right now, this would not mean anything. And so for everybody, stop what you're doing right now and just give yourselves a round of applause for making the younger version of myself so proud for reaching such a big moment. And now, as we have done this after really about 2 years of creating on this channel consistently, well, if you are watching this and you have not already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe while you're at it, because if you are not within the first 100,000 subscribers already, well, then I guess you can help us get to 200, but now really, as we have just reached such a big milestone for this channel, and again, if you have stuck by me for years, you know that from Nicki Minaj to Drake, these fan bases have always been at me for just speaking how I feel. Well, really, within this moment, what this has done is given me a chance to reflect on my journey coming to make content here, and specifically now, as I really got into things in 2023, and of course there was 2024, and now we are here. What I wanted to do today is talk about my journey, but also in the bigger sense for the entire hip-hop space. Talk about a major problem, interestingly enough, that has transformed the genre all throughout my journey here, creating content just like this. And now what I am specifically referring to, and what I wanted to reflect on for all of us to see today, is really now, no matter which part of the 100,000 subscribers you joined or maybe left us at even, you were able to witness really a stretch and era in hip-hop which I want to say has had more consequences on anything we have ever seen, but at the very least, because I guess that could be taken it too far considering how early we really are into seeing just what this has all affected, the biggest moments we have seen at the very least since the mid-90s, but maybe it's even bigger than that just because of how global rap has become already. And now what I want to start talking about is specifically the year 2023, which is where we began this journey. And within this, well, what was, and I said, and I will still stick by this forever, one of, if not the worst year in hip-hop history, which, while again, if you were around back then, which shout out to yourself if you were, when we looked at problems like sample baiting and the rise of people like Ice Spice and Jack Harlow, which really did seem like they were making for why the genre was in such a bad place back then, well, really in this time, while of course all those people were terrible and trash, what we began to see was that with For All the Dogs and everything that Drake did within that window and moment of time, well, Drake was really the problem. And at this time where I left making rap-related social media content and was even working on rollout campaigns for big artists, which I'll just leave that there. That is a story for another day, but if you want to hear more about that, then maybe leave a comment and I'll talk about it one day. Well, coming to this platform and making these bigger videos, it really challenged me to think about the bigger picture of things. And well, if you go back to my older videos, well, I was not covering the downfall of Drake because it didn't happen yet. I was always hated by the Drake fans and his community and the other artists around him for a very long time, which once again, if you don't know about my beef with some of the other people in Young Money, that can be a story for another day. So please leave a comment if you want to see that in the future. And really, the reason why I always had issues with this group is because unlike a lot of the norm in rap and some of our favorite personalities in media in terms of the big mainstream guys, well, again, before Kendrick changed everything and made it okay for these people to actually talk negatively about Drake, a lot of others, including myself, were the only people not scared to bash this guy and just call him out for the trash that he was making and his negative effect on hip-hop as a whole, which again, if you go back, you can see me bashing him all the way back in 2023, right after For All the Dogs dropped, and even a little before that for such things as his album cover choices and just whack decisions that degraded the art form in general. And now I say all of this and look back at the start of where this channel really blew up to say that altogether, well really before 2024, which was of course the year that we were all sat down for every single moment of and saw the biggest rap beef and moments in hip hop unfold all at once, Looking at it already, and what I am sure we are only going to find out more and more in due time, really, is that in connection to 23 and everything before it, 2024 was not just a great year for rap, or it was a super fun and engaging one because of the beef, but really when we look at the greater picture of this all and what it truly means, and again for me as a creator, this was something that I happened to be in the perfect time to experience because I just started creating in 2023, saw how bad that was, and then saw this entire shift happen right before my eyes. Again, when we see where we are at now, I think it's safe to say that 2024 was or will become eventually the most important year in the entire history of hip-hop, arguably, and again, even if you disagree with me, I will say at the very least it's the most important since the mid-90s, because now what we are seeing in 2025 and in this time where hip-hop is still so separated and we are seeing people just talk about all this, is that really with the beef between Drake and Kendrick, it was not just a moment where two artists went at it, but it really split the entire space-time continuum of hip-hop and changed the genre forever. And again, as we have really seen these two sides, and you almost can say parties in hip-hop just split and emerge into these forces that have these complete different goals. And of course, as a result, if you're a hip-hop purist or on Kendrick Lamar's side, you see how far Drake is and really understand that this whole fan base has never really belonged in hip-hop in the first place. Well, still with that, even with this side very distinctly exposing themselves and how terrible they are, it's honestly surreal because there is still so much of a mess in the entire genre of rap as a whole, and this is because, well, after the people were tricked or believed that Drake was the leader of this thing for so long, and again, this wasn't just fans, but this was artists and the industry as a whole. Well, again, from the way the industry just set itself up to how the rappers within it tried to be cool with him, and yet there are legends with classic albums that no matter where they stand and what their contributions are, they tend to stand with Drake now more than anybody else that represents hip-hop, like 50 Cent, for example. Well, overall, when we see this split, but also see the mess that it has created, and with a lot of hip-hop artists, has just put them in a place of absolute chaos. What we are seeing now is that the rap game, while it needed this, is messed up more and more every day, and we are really seeing the reflection of this when somebody like Punch from TDE made the comments that he made about the genre, which so clearly, despite the fake outrage from all the Drake people that, again, we know they don't understand anything, he was not questioning the division between rap and Drake fans, but he was really questioning outside of the OVO community why there is still so many problems in hip-hop outside of just a few names who seem to get it, both in terms of rappers, fans, and the industry in general. And really now, as this beef has happened and we are just seeing everything settle in more and more and ultimately how it's going to play into the future of hip-hop, really, when you look at all of these things in connection, 2023 was the breaking point of the Drake era, 2024 was the year that hip-hop was taking back, and 2025 is just picking up the pieces of everything that went down and is trying to reconstruct hip-hop to be in the place that it needs to be. And truly, what I think is going to be next and what will define this next era of rap music beyond Kendrick Lamar and the TDE and PG Langkamps continuing to run things is truly going to be this uncharted time, kind of like what we are seeing now, where again, you have rappers and people who are just operating in this space, who just don't even understand what it means to be a rapper, and therefore, no matter how much we see Drake's downfall and how we end up covering it, well, rap is still going to continue to be a mess for the larger part of the genre until all of this gets cleaned up, which who knows when that will actually be, and again, unless more rappers just step up like Kendrick Lamar, because the guy can't do everything. If there is a greater message that will be sent about how the status quo and creative meta has shifted, and again now to bring this back to my channel and my experience. Despite being a rap channel who has always stood on the values of artistic expression and being a hip-hop purist who roots for the genre and everything that its pioneers wanted from it first, well, I have seen, just like so many others have, the effects of trying to pull apart all the problems and vultures in rap music, because really in the Drake era and during the downfall, which I think I have covered just a little, well, because of this reset that happened and people in the trash era of rap where I started this channel in just never saw the problems like we all did, it creates this point where people try to make targeted efforts to take people down, and again, now when you put yourself out here and make takes getting pushed back on, it is a part of what you do. But even still with this, when we see the way that specific creators and people have been targeted in these weird stan efforts from Drake and those people where they just try to do the strangest and most off-putting things to create these fake images and ideas to ruin the way people's voices even are seen and perceived, well again, it's so far off from hip-hop, but it is this effect of seeing how rap has just changed and really shifted into a thing that it was never supposed to be, and of course now, even though that has been broken, the effects are still there. And now really, I'm saying all of this to just put into perspective into this time that, well, on this journey that we have been on together so far, and throughout all of the videos I have made from the beef, during the beef, and until now, well, while everything is chaotic and it may even get worse, it's because something beautiful is trying to blossom once again, and I think as rap fans, we are all starting to see that, and it is truly exciting to see how in this time from when I started creating videos like The Biggest Problem in Hip-Hop, which really broke down why the genre was such a mess in 2023, well, now at least things have actually changed to some level. And again, with this and with the community that we have created, I think it's truly a gift that we are all here to understand and properly contextualize what is happening to rap in this time, where the events that we talk about here every day are ultimately going to change and affect the way future generations see this stuff, and then ask us what actually happened with rap music behind all of the music in the time that was made that everybody will still be able to listen to. And so now, despite all of the ups and downs of dealing with annoying fan bases and even having to talk about losers taking rap beefs to court and the possible effects of that, well, as we can all sit here together and talk about and help make an effort that is keeping the culture in the place it needs to be and just keep rap in a state where we know that everything that the greats have stood for will stand the test of time. Well, truly, I could have never asked to come into this thing and make the pivot here in the time that I did, and now with all that said, I can't wait to see where the future of this channel takes us and how we get to see what will unfold in hip-hop, all for the better. And now, if you have made it to this point in the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and now if you are here, I know you are a real one, and because of that, I need to ask you straight up, as we have just reached this milestone and it feels like the start of a new era in a way, what do you want to see next from the channel and me as a whole? And do you want me to expand and talk about more artists and rappers, and just give me any suggestions or things that you would possibly want to see me do? And again, if you were here, I will tell you now, as we are getting in a time where the Clips album is coming up and a lot of great things are coming with that, I have some surprises and I'm going to try to do some big things in celebration of both this moment and just the win that will about to go on in hip-hop. And so now with all this said, just let me know any suggestions you have for the channel, and what I want to say is that I would not be here without all of you, and so really, the way I'm thinking about reaching 100,000 subscribers right now, this is all of our accomplishments, so celebrate this one for me, and just remember that over everything else. With what has went down now through all of the ups and downs and everything that has been faced, well, right now, the younger version of myself has never been happier for seeing where we have made it to today, and I just can't thank you enough for that. And now, truly right now with all this, I am so excited that I don't even know what to say anymore, so I'm just going to cue the music, and I'll see you in the next one.